Hello, everybody. Today, hopefully this will be another about 10-minute video. Today I'm going to talk about how we pay or make an actual payment on our federal taxes. I'm only going to talk about paying the federal taxes because every state's a little bit differently. But honestly, when you pay state taxes, typically what I do is I just Google the state, for example, like Ohio or Texas, or I guess Texas doesn't have income tax. So like New York or California. But anyway, I would type in something like Ohio income tax payment, and you want to go make sure you go to the actual government website. So the .gov typically, and then there will be several options. It'll actually look fairly similar to how we pay federal taxes, but you know, typically they offer a third-party payment processor, or they offer an actual bank electronic funds transfer (EFT) method. It's the same as what the federal government does, but I'm not going to walk through any state because there's a lot of different states and they all look slightly different, but they're all about the same. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and share screen on this, and this is how you pay your federal taxes, your individual federal taxes. This won't be for business. Businesses do a totally different thing, but this will be for your personal income tax. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to www.irs.gov/payments. All right, and so here we have two options. We have the pay now with direct pay, or pay now by card or digital wallet. So we're going to do the walkthrough of the direct pay first. So this is basically an electronic funds transfer, and ACH, right out of your bank account. So then we're going to click on make a payment, and you're going to put in 9 times out of 10, this is how you're going to do it. You might have a different one. If you're paying the actual balance due, what I've told you, this is what you owe on your taxes after we filed your tax return, you're going to pick balance due. If you're going to make an estimated tax payment, meaning you're prepaying your taxes, then you're going to pick that one. Very rarely will you pick any of these other things. If you do, it's because I've told you specifically what to do. But okay, so we're going to click balance due. It's going to be on the income tax 1040, and then the last year, so 2022. Click continue. Yes. And then you're going to just verify it again, 2022. And this is, then we're going to put in our personal information to see if it verifies it. So, I'm filing single, Jason, Taylor, and then I'm not going to put in my actual social, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Birth date, January 1. Let's just do 2000. Okay, and then I'll put in my address. So this actually isn't going to be verified. Actually, I think I filed it. And so this is how we entered it on your tax return. So this is, if you have any questions, it should be your actual address that was entered on the 1040 with your social security number and your birth date. So then you mark OK. And typically what's going to happen, if you click continue, you might get this error. So this is going to pop up merely because I put in the incorrect information. So it's going to say your identity could not be verified. Please review and re-enter your information or try a different tax year. So if you put in all the correct information, what this is actually saying is we're the IRS and we're moving really slow and we haven't even processed your e-filed tax return yet. So if you get this error, that means you can either wait another week and try again, or you can go through one of the third-party payers. But this is if it could verify your information because they have processed your tax return, and you put in the correct information, then you'll go to the next screen where you can say how much you want to pay. It won't tell you your balance due. It will, because you actually have to log into your specific account for that. but it will allow you to put in your bank account information and your the amount you want to pay. Okay, so, but if you do get this error, that means they probably haven't processed your tax return yet, or you transposed a number on your social or something. So just double check your information and try again. And if you continue to get this after you tried it 1 or 2 times, it's because the IRS is slow. Okay, so then let's go back to the other method, irs.gov/payments. So this is, we're going to pick this pay now by card or digital wallet. So this is processing through a third-party payer. There are fees associated. So this is the different fees through the different third parties. So you have 3 different options here. And honestly, I think ACI is a third-party processor for pretty much every state as well that I've seen. So you could use them, but if you pay by debit card, that would be the only way I actually recommend you ever pay your taxes, is by debit card. So you'll have a max fee of pay through USA Tax or ACI. Your max fee will be $2.20 when you pay by debit card. Don't ever pay by credit card. So the point there is if you're paying by a credit card, one, you're going to get charged a percentage from the third-party processor. So now you're already paying almost 2% on top of your taxes for processing a credit card. Then you're also going to have the credit card interest rate. That's probably going to be, most credit cards are sitting north of 15% right now, because prime is at about 8.5%. So most short-term debt is pretty expensive. So credit cards, yeah, unless you have an excellent rate, then you're going to be paying a lot of interest on that. So the government's interest rate, right now, the IRS is charging somewhere between 7 and 8%. They usually fall behind on because it has to be regulated by the IRS. And so every couple months they increase their interest rate based on what prime is at. The IRS's rate is supposed to be prime plus 2 percentage points. Like I said, they're behind, so they're actually sitting at about somewhere between 7 and 8%, while actual prime today I think is around 8.5%. So they're actually slightly under prime right now. So never pay your taxes with short-term debt. There's no reason ever to do that, because you're going to get charged almost, probably 20% by the credit card company plus this 2% increase. So it's going to cost you a lot of money to pay your taxes with credit cards. Just pay your taxes with debit or ACH transfer. Don't ever use a debt, because the interest rate at the IRS is way cheaper. But anyway, let's go ahead and walk through this. It's going to look very similar. I'm just going to use ACI. It doesn't matter which one you use, but it's going to come here, and you're going to have all these different options for paying. We're paying personal taxes, Form 1040 series, and pay 1040 current year tax return, tax year 2022. How much do you want to pay? I don't know, whatever your taxes are that I told you to do, or however much you want to pay by debit or credit card, enter your information. And then I'm not going to enter in any information, but what's going to happen is in the next screen, you're going to give your social security number and your personal identification information, so that it's the payments added to your account. So the IRS runs on social security number or tax identification number. So as long as you get your social security number or tax ID number right, it will be applied to your account. So that's really the biggest thing, is they're not going to probably verify your personal name, but make sure you type in your social security number correct, because that is where the payment will be applied to. Okay, so that's how you actually pay your federal taxes. It's really simple. You can run through one of these 2 things, but that's really and most states are going to be the same way. They're just going to look slightly different, but most states do offer ACH or electronic funds transfer, just like in the first screen, or they offer a third-party payment processor like ACI Payments to process debit and credit cards. Okay, so I already kind of talked about interest rates and how the IRS is one of the lowest interest rates you can find. So let's go ahead and go back to IRS website, /payments. So this is where if you wanted to do an actual payment plan, you're going to scroll down here and you're going to apply for a payment plan. So you click on this, and then it's going to give you some, information, apply, revise as an individual. And then this, you're gonna sign in with your government ID.me account. So this is new from probably about a year to 2 years ago. This is how you log into all government websites now, or all federal government websites, I mean. So you're gonna click on the ID.me, create your account. It's gonna verify your information, and then it will link your ID.me account to the IRS, and you'll be able to access all of your transcripts and your account balance, and that's also where you will go through to apply for a payment plan. It's just going to be like applying for a credit card or any loan with the bank. Usually the IRS is a little bit more favorable and easier to work with, but you can get rejected. Now, personally, I don't think you should ever actually do a payment plan. Well, there might be some circumstances where that comes into play, and really it depends on how much you owe in taxes. If you owe less than $10,000, you're not even on the IRS's radar. Basically, the IRS has stated that $10,000 and under is not really something they're actively going after. You might automatically get sent to collections at some point, but it will literally be because the IRS's computer system is doing it. Anything above $10,000, if you owe that, they might eventually actually assign a person to you and have them start chasing you down for payment. So really, if you're under $10,000, don't ever do a payment plan. Instead, just start making monthly payments. So go back to the payment site where we were. Right. Oh, that's the payment plan. All right, here. So you would just come in here monthly and make a payment. So my recommendation is to make a payment that at least enough that will get your taxes paid off before the next tax year. So preferably get it paid off at least in 12 months. That might be $500 a month. That might be $1,000 a month, whatever you owe. But try to make enough of a monthly payment to get it paid off at least in 12 months. But don't actually set up a payment plan, because the payment plan, you're just going to get charged interest too. The same amount of interest you're going to get charged if you don't set up a payment plan. So just go ahead and make payments. Typically that'll keep the IRS off your back. They won't send you to collections because they see you making payments. They see money coming in. Now, if you can't afford to do that, just try to make a monthly payment as best you can. That way you can at least still show that you're trying, even if it's only 25 bucks. Go ahead and make a payment as much as you can each month to keep the IRS happy, showing that you're doing the best you can. Then we can have that payment plan in our back pocket in the event that they do send you to collections. So at that point, we would say, okay, we've been trying to make these monthly payments. The computer system just automatically sent you to collections. You'll get a letter in the mail from the IRS saying we have sent your account to a collections agency, and then it's probably going to be another 2 months before you even hear from that collection agency. And eventually you'll get a letter from the collection agency. Well, once you get that letter from the IRS for collections, that's when you want to jump in on here and actually set up the payment plan. The reason why we want to hold off on the payment plan until then is because a payment plan is an agreement with the IRS that you will make a specified payment each month, regardless of anything else going on. And when they do the payment plan, you set up to have automatic bank drafts come out of your bank account every month. And if for some reason you are unable to make that payment, you don't have enough money in your bank account that month, they'll go to pull the money. You'll end up having, basically a bounce check. So there will be a bounce check fee. And then also what's going to happen is the IRS considers that a violation of the contract that you've made with them. And at that point, regardless of how much you owe, you get assigned an actual person, and they are merciless coming after you. They will send you to collections. They will come knock on your door, because now you violated the contract that you've made with them. So like I said, I prefer never to do a payment plan unless I absolutely have to. typically that means I'm getting sent to collections. Then I'll do the payment plan to keep it from getting put on my actual credit report and doing damage that way. So just make a monthly payment as best you can. And that's kind of really my take on things. Now with state taxes, you want to pay off state taxes. Both for federal taxes, states are way more aggressive. And if you can't pay the full amount, do set up a payment plan with the state and get that paid off as soon as you can. But for federal taxes, they move a lot slower. They have different thresholds for what they actually track down and go after. So just make a monthly payment as best you can with the federal government to keep them off your back. So that's kind of my take on making payments and how to make payments with the federal government. The biggest thing, just don't make a payment plan with them. Just make a monthly payment, because you're going to get charged the same interest anyway. And you're just keeping out of that contractual obligation. Okay, I hope this is beneficial for everyone. If you have any questions, shoot me an email.